Hey guys, thanks for stopping in today. My name is Mark. In this video, I'll cover 18 important tips and tricks to help you plan and fly successful missions using Waypoints 2.0. Some of these tips are important for beginners and some are highly advanced. So let's get started. Alright, so before I get started, I do recommend checking out my Waypoints 2.0 introductory flight video. Link is in the description below. Tip number 1, waypoint limits. Altitude can be set from 6 to 1640 feet, speed from 0 to 17.9 miles per hour, camera angle from 0 to -90 degrees, max number of waypoints, 99, max distance between consecutive waypoints, 6,561 feet, max flight distance, 90,425 feet, and point of interest altitude, 0 to 1,640 feet. Tip number 2, when you hit start, the drone will immediately fly to the altitude of your first waypoint and also adjust the camera angle set for that first waypoint. Once it reaches altitude, it will fly horizontally to the first waypoint. Tip number 3, the speed set at a waypoint begins from that waypoint and continues at that speed until it arrives at the next waypoint. Here we're flying at 10 miles per hour, and at waypoint 2, it changes to 5 miles per hour. Tip number 4, use the right control stick to speed up the drone by pushing the stick forward. Slow down by pulling the stick back, and even fly the entire mission in reverse. Release the stick to continue the mission. Tip number 5, the camera angle set at a waypoint starts adjusting to that angle as it leaves from the prior waypoint. Tip number 6, the drone turns clockwise or counterclockwise when flying from waypoint to waypoint based on the shortest rotational angle. Here the drone turns counterclockwise because it's the shortest angle between the waypoints. Tip number 7, when the route type is set to arc, the turning radius can be adjusted for smoother turns. Tip number 8, waypoint actions to start or stop video recording and take a photo works only when route type is set to polyline. Only one action can be set per waypoint, and to take a photo, video recording must be off. Here's an example of a proper sequence. Tip number 9, use 2 waypoints linked to one point of interest to keep the subject in frame longer. Tip number 10, using a point of interest to aim your camera at a subject below the home point is a problem because 0 feet is the lowest setting. Here you see the camera aiming at the point of interest but not aiming at the group of trees below as desired. One workaround is to bring the point of interest closer to the waypoint. And now with the point of interest closer, we have the group of trees that's more centered in the shot. There's also another workaround explained in the next tip. Tip number 11, use the C1 button in flight to more accurately set the waypoint and camera angle to better frame your shot. Switch to the live view screen, frame your shot, then press the C1 button to set the waypoint. Tip number 12, to be able to set the waypoint altitude below your home point, you must use the C1 button, as the lowest manually adjustable altitude for a waypoint is 6 feet. Tip number 13, to be able to set the camera angle for a waypoint above the horizon, you must use the C1 button, as a manually adjustable camera angle cannot go higher than the horizon. Tip number 14, you can have a mix of waypoints recorded with the C1 button, waypoints linked with points of interest, and manually set waypoints. Tip number 15, the free flight mode allows manually turning the drone left or right, but oddly, camera angles cannot be controlled as they are set by the camera angle setting at each waypoint. Tip number 16, the route flight mode automatically turns the drone and camera angle towards the direction set at each waypoint as it heads toward that waypoint. Tip number 17, you could plan a mission, save it, and then load any mission from your task library, even when you're not connected to the drone. The trick is to leave the app open after you turned off the drone. There's one caveat though, the altitudes are going to be limited to 65 feet, so you'll need to readjust the altitudes once you've connected back to the drone. Tip number 18, last but not least, the lateral vision sensors are disabled in waypoint missions. Alright guys, so that is it. If you have any questions about waypoint missions, comment below and I'll do my best to give you helpful answers. And if you found a couple of tips that were helpful in this video, please hit that like button and consider subscribing. Thanks guys, and as always, happy flying.